We've been going through some tough times, both on a national level and on a personal level. I know so many powerful women who are struggling right now with major health issues, either for themselves or their spouses. All powerful women. A woman who is struggling the third time around with ovarian cancer, and two other powerful women whose husbands have cancer, one lymphoma and the other one a blood disease. And then I have another friend whose sister-in-law is really fading fast from cancer, and she had made plans to take an airplane flight to out of the country to visit this sister-in-law, and her daughter got into a car accident. That's a lot of people just in my life who are going through major life challenges. How about you? Have you noticed either friends of yours who are going through these cancer or health crises, or car accident crises, or maybe yourself? Maybe it's health, maybe it's financial crisis, it could be a love crisis. It seems to be going on in the air, in the cosmos. I believe that these crises happen for a reason, that they are a nudge from the universe to get us to change. Now, that may seem a little heartless. It may seem a little disconnected, but it's not really. Because I believe that life is full of miracles. As Albert Einstein said, either you believe that everything is random or you believe everything is a miracle. So we have a choice. We can either feel when these crises happen that we are a victim, which frankly, I don't think that that's particularly compassionate, or we can believe that there is a reason, that there is some kind of empowerment underneath that. And that's what I believe, that if you look through your past at all the most difficult times, you will find often that there was a huge breakthrough, that you got somewhere better. So look at your life right now. Are you going through challenges right now? And become more aware. What might be the lesson? In my experience as a PhD psychosocial analyst working with many clients who have come to me through crisis, my experience is that at the core, underneath, are early childhood habits that we learned as a way to survive. And these crises are often an opportunity to break through and change those habits. I'll give you some examples. I had a client come to me because she had health issues. She was working too hard and it was damaging her health, and she was only in her 30s. And she realized that if she lost her health at that age, what would she have left? But she had this compulsion to work all the time. And sure enough, we looked into her early childhood, and there were the signs of survival, of feeling unsafe when she didn't feel like there was enough money. And so money became her major driving force. But actually, the universe has a bigger plan for her, and it's nudging her. Health issues are often the universe saying, this is not okay, wake up. I had another client, powerful woman, really, really terrific coach, who came to me because she was in a personal crisis. She was having problems with her family. And she was struggling getting herself to the next level. And sure enough, she had never dealt with the loss of her first husband. And so the crisis in her family was a reflection of that early loss, and also an opportunity to clean up that old business. I personally had a huge breakthrough as a result of loss. Now, I resisted and I ignored the universe's message probably 3 or 4 times. Losing my first job, then my husband left me, my first husband. I did get some emotional childhood clearing healing, but it wasn't until my mother was dying that I woke up and I realized, after over 48 years of tamping myself down, of not living my purpose, I woke up. I realized life is too short to not be living on purpose, to not be putting all of my energy into what I'm here for. Now, there are often patterns that hold us back from that, those early childhood patterns. And in my case, it was people pleasing. As long as you are focused out there, you're not paying attention to your heart's desire. You're not listening to the inner voice because you're too outward focused. But there are other patterns, like the performer. Now, the performer often is quite successful financially. They put all their energy into being successful in the world, often at the expense of health or love or both. I have a relative right now who he makes over 6 figures, into the second 6 figures. He's doing great, but his health is really compromised and his relationship is really struggling because all he knows how to do is perform. And there are early childhood wounds that need to be addressed. And that habit of working all the time, part of it from parental modeling, and part of it from fear that if you stop, that your emotions will catch up with you and you won't be able to deal with them, which is in fact true. That does happen. The emotions catch up. So what are some of the nudges from the universe that we get? Well, I already mentioned one, health. Health is a big one. Sometimes it's that you take a financial downturn. It's suddenly you lose a lot of money and you're like, oh my God. Or maybe you've been kind of making longs just enough. And suddenly you don't know how you're going to make your next rent payment. And it wakes you up. Or maybe you've lost a partner. He's walked out on you and you say, oh, what's that about? What's the matter? Why can't I have love? I had another client who came to me. Sometimes they come to me from the loss of a loved one through death, but sometimes they come to me through the loss of a loved one through divorce. And it is this amazing opportunity for cleaning out the old habits and patterns, for looking deeper. That's what I do. I don't, some people, all they want to do is have the grief stop, but I don't stop there because I believe that there is something deeper that's going on, that the universe is trying to tell us about what we should be doing with our lives. And okay, sometimes it takes a while for us to get the message. It took me a long time to get the message. Over 40 years to get the message before I said, oh, I'm supposed to live my purpose. Oh, what's my purpose? How about you? Do you know your purpose? Are you even aware of your gifts? I believe also that those early childhood wounds and trauma provide us with the gifts that we need, the experience and the knowledge to do the work we're here for. So if you're a coach or a healer or a change maker, your experience is vital because it allows you to connect with your people, to understand them. You can't be of service if you do not understand your clients. I used to work with hospice in hospice support groups, and hospice would hire these new graduates out of graduate school to be bereavement counselors, and they hadn't a clue. They didn't have the life experience to understand what their older clients were going through. So you want a coach who understands you, that has experienced the territory. So why is grief or loss so powerful? Well, loss triggers grief, and grief is really uncomfortable because the body is really trying to get you to do something. And so it really turns on the fire underneath you to change, usually to rebond if you lost a significant other. In addition, it affects your health. When you have lost somebody, it triggers a survival response because as social beings, as herd animals, we are wired to bond. And when we lose somebody, it triggers that survival response in us of fight, flee, freeze. And unfortunately, our culture really has a bad habit of tamping down emotions, which is the worst thing because when you tap down the emotions, the emotional energy doesn't get released, it gets stuck. These survival responses were really for short term, like running away from a lion or tiger or bear, or lifting a heavy car off of your loved one to save them, for a lot of strength and power and energy in the moment. But when it becomes chronic, when that activation of these hormones that are released in your body, when that activation continues, it's what we call stress, and it actually affects your health. Chronic stress can make you sick. So the other thing that makes loss such a really powerful opportunity for change is it brings up the old losses. All the ones that you have never dealt with all kind of pop up at the same time because they're all connected. So it's a really, really great opportunity to clear out old wounds, to change, to grow. It also breaks the routine. A lot of my clients come to me because they've lost everything. Oh, they may still have their house, but the person who was in that house with them is gone. And so the fabric of their life has been rended, it has been torn asunder. And they are trying to figure out how to put back the pieces. It's not enough to just put back the pieces because I guarantee you, if the universe has an idea for you, it will remind you again and again. I have had a client who, powerful woman, she lost the love of her life. He died suddenly like that. She was on her way to an event. She was flying out of town. She said goodbye to him, closed the door, and when she came back, he was dead. She was devastated. But before he died, he was having a conversation with her, and he said, "You know, I'm holding you back." She says, "Oh, no, 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 you're not holding me back." But he was. And now, on her own, she has accomplished huge, important things. Sometimes these challenges are there to create the space, the freedom for us. Sometimes they are there to motivate us to change, and sometimes they are there to take us to another level, to teach us something that we need to know for the next phase of our purpose, the next part of our life. So I wanted to talk a little bit with you about the patterns that happen. So the people pleaser was the pattern I had, and I already told you that when you're a people pleaser, you don't focus on your life purpose, and you don't stand in your power, and you don't even imagine the bigger vision. And I told you about the performer, and the performer is somebody who works hard, 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 and maybe they succeed financially, but they may be suffering with their health and maybe even suffering in their love relationships. And I do believe that you can have it all if you clean up the old patterns. So another pattern is controlling, and I've had several clients come to me who have this pattern of the controller. Often they come from a family environment that is chaotic, and maybe they're the oldest and they are put in the responsibility of holding their family together. And they get in that habit. And then it's hard for them to let other people live their lives, even though they're adults. And they use that as a way to distract themselves from their own purpose. Sometimes it just devastates them, and they get totally off their sidetrack. Now, the another form or pattern is the rebel. And this is somebody often who has had to hide who they are. That may be a healer, maybe a psychic or a channeler, somebody who has these very esoteric gifts, but the world thinks they're crazy, so they hide who they really are. And this creates such a disjunction between who they are and who they need to be. They often become rebellious. They kind of want to get back, and they don't trust anybody. And that often becomes difficult when they're working with clients, because their clients, if you don't trust anybody, how are your clients going to trust you? You need to be a model for that trust. Your clients need to trust you. So another reason why we get these crises, these changes that wake us up, is that there may be an imbalance in our lives, which I have suggested already, that maybe you're focused too much on money, or maybe you're focused too much on pleasing, or maybe your health. And when any of these go out of balance, it is a warning. It's the universe saying that something's wrong. Change usually happens. Now, sometimes it does seem to happen randomly, but even this, what is a global warming, this environmental crisis, is a warning from the universe, the world, the environment, to say, wake up, this is not working. In the same way, your body is saying, wake up, this is not working. You need to change the way in which you're doing things. There is an old saying, pain pushes until vision pulls. So how are you doing with your life purpose? Are you moving forward? Are you having the success in your mission that you want? And if not, would you like to get on track? Would you like to move to the next plateau? Now, you can wait for pain to push you, but wouldn't you rather have vision pulling? So take a moment and ask yourself, what is your vision right now? Where are you headed? And then, when you get that really big vision, and it needs to be big if it's going to pull you, what's holding you back? Is it fear? Is it lack of courage? Do you believe that you don't have enough education? Maybe you don't have enough time, you're too busy. That's a big one. Maybe you have family issues, crises that are holding you back or distracting you. Maybe you just need permission to move forward. Life's crisis gives you permission. I used to say that to my grief clients. When you have had a significant loss, you have a year's pass to explore and do whatever it is that you need to move into the next phase of your life. So maybe that's all that crisis that's going on in your life is about, is to take stock. But take stock. Don't get caught up completely in the other people's interpretation of what you're going through. Listen to your wisdom, your inner wisdom, your guide. And if you would like some help, I'm offering introductory conversations where you can find out how I work and whether we're a match, how I can help you to get through your blocks and barriers so that you can be living fully in your life purpose. That's it for today. I'm on a 30-day challenge. I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live, hopefully around the same time every day, around 1:30, to talk about these issues. So come join me again. I will throw out a little Facebook notice prior to coming on. And that's all for today. Be brilliant. Bye for now.